My name is Elijah Baker, and I'm a divine child of God. I'm also a 16-year-old junior in high school, and this is my EFY ambassador application video. Right now in my life, I have two main goals, and the first is to go on my mission, and the second is to get into BYU. And those two goals are sort of shaping the rest of my life right now. I go to church every Sunday, and I bless the sacrament. And then I also go to mission prep and any other church meetings that I have whenever I can. I'm the president of the priest's quorum. I also really enjoy going to the temple, and I go whenever possible. Roll the clip. In school, I'm also doing my best to keep my grades up. I'm taking all AP classes, and I have a 4.0 GPA right now, although that might go away after yesterday's pre-cal test. I'm also a high school diver. Last year I won 9th at state, and this year I started a club dive, so that's fun. I'm now diving 3.5 hours a day, so we'll roll a clip of that.
The legs.
Yeah! Out there, just FYI.
I also love to lift weights, and I do a lot of flips like parkour for fun. To quote my dad, he said, "I'm not worried that you're going to go out with your friends and get drunk or do drugs. I am really worried, though, that you will get hurt trying something that you cannot do." So here's some videos of some of my best and some of my worst flips that I've done. As I'm sure you can tell, I'm not always the most successful.
One. Yeah.
I think it goes without saying that the no feet above your elbows rule was kind of created for people like me. Socially, I am a very extroverted person. I love meeting new people. I love talking to people. I don't have very much social anxiety, and actually a lot of that is thanks to EFYs that I've been to in the past, but I have tons of friends at church, at school. I'm even still in contact with a lot of people that I met at EFY even 2 years ago. I love my family. I have 4 younger siblings and 2 parents. It's a total of 7 people. For those of you who don't live in Utah, that's a lot, but here it's the average. In any group that I'm assigned to, I normally end up being elected as the leader or speaker for that group. I never have any trouble standing up and being the loudest in the room or speaking about something. I also am always willing to help anyone whenever they need something done, and so even when I'm not told to be the leader or the speaker, I generally will still try to help others if possible. Kind of group project type things. My counselor, my EFY counselor from last year, James Adamson, told me that I have great leadership skills, and I now wear that sort of as a badge of honor. I think about that more and more, and I try to use that to become a better example for those in my ward and just those around me. I'd say that the project I was most recently assigned was this video, which I made my own by making the first 3 minutes exclusively about me. But additionally, I recently had a U.S. history project, and whenever I'm given a project in school, I try and introduce elements of the church and stuff. And so in the U.S. History project, we were talking about Native Americans, and I wrote an entire separate paragraph at the bottom tying in the Book of Mormon to some of the Native American history. And then in psychology, I had a project recently where I was supposed to study the different past psychologists, and I wrote about how most humanists are fierce atheists and the correlation between pride and the sort of falling away from religion. And then I also speak openly in that class about my religion. I also was given a fairly large project by my mom, who's an author, to promote some of her books. And so they're actually right behind me is this bookshelf. that sort of ties into my social media experience. So I have that TikTok account. It's gotten thousands of views. It has 1,300 likes. I have about 85 followers, but it's still growing. I have a personal Instagram account that I post on about my life and about the church. I post fairly regularly. I have about 200 followers. I also use Facebook, but that's mostly just for keeping in contact with missionaries. I don't know if that would be much of a help, but I am very familiar and have 150 Facebook friends. I don't have a personal TikTok account, but I talked to my parents and I'd be able to make one and post on it for EFY ambassador related things if I do end up getting it and if necessary. First is just that I'm a very outgoing, confident person who truly will not mind posting anything about EFY. It's been a very great point in my life, and I would love nothing more than to share whenever possible. The second reason is that I truly am always willing to work with others. EFY taught me that in this world there is so many people who are just like me, that they are members of this church. About 4 years ago, our stake split up wards, and I live in Houston, Texas, and so the youth program already wasn't the best, but when I got ordained as a deacon, they split up the youth, and since then, we had 6 families with young men, and of those 6 families, 4 of them either went inactive or moved to Utah. Right now, we currently have 1 deacon, 1 teacher, and 1 priest. I am that priest. My first EFY was such a pivotal moment in my life. I remember distinctly going to that first dance on Tuesday night and just looking around and just being like amazed at the fact that every single person there, of the 500 plus people, were all members of my church, that they all shared the same beliefs as me. Without EFY, I would not have nearly the amount of contacts and friends in this church as I do now. Like I said, I'm still friends with people from EFYs I went to even 2 years ago. EFY is the best part of my summer, and for that reason, I will always be willing to do anything that I am asked of as an ambassador. And even though the video isn't over, I would just like to thank you for considering me and for allowing me to come this far in the consideration. My third and final reason is that EFY has been the most pivotal moment of my life so far. My first EFY ever was at BYU campus. It was the Habits of Life in 2021. I went in as a homeschooled kid who was about to enter his freshman year in high school, and I didn't have very many social skills. I really liked talking to people, but I did not have any confidence in myself or in who I was. Then I went there, and I had such a great time meeting all of these people. And I remember even entering high school, I was a 5'11" skinny blonde boy with the confidence and the ego that would impress even Elon Musk. EFY gave that to me. More important than that, however, was my experience at this past summer 2023 EFY Palmyra session. I, in the months prior, had been feeling a lot of shame over a lot of things. My life wasn't going super great spiritually. The best way I can put this is just to say that I had become of the world. And I'm still not happy to say that I had reached a point where I wasn't reading my scriptures, and every night, instead of saying a prayer, I would just go to bed because I thought that God didn't want to hear from me. When I got to EFY Palmyra, my counselor asked me if I could speak about why I decided to come to Palmyra. And he asked me if I could do that during orientation. And so I thought about it a little bit, and then during orientation, the session director called me and said, "Oh, why did you decide to come to Palmyra?" And then I gave some copy-paste response about wanting to strengthen my testimony of Joseph Smith. And then I sat down, and then I felt the Spirit stronger in that moment than I had ever before. And I felt the Spirit tell me, "No, you didn't choose to come here. You were sent here." That's when I remembered. I came here with my sister and with a family friend of mine. My family friend wanted to go to New York, and that's why we came. Not because I chose, not because any of that stuff. I was trying to come up with reasoning. It hit me that I was sent there. And I have never felt the Spirit stronger than the rest of that week. Before that, I can remember maybe one time when I felt the Spirit, and that was at FSY the year before during testimony meeting, and that's what I thought that EFY Palmyra would be like. I'd show up, I'd go through the week, and then I'd feel the Spirit once. I don't think that the Spirit left me that week. That week is the week that my testimony stopped being a piggyback of someone else's. That's when I stopped trying to learn from others. That's when I truly gained a testimony of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. EFY Palmyra helped me realize that I am a divine child of God. Before that week, I was a struggling young man who constantly made mistakes and had no idea where he was going in life. After that, now I'm a struggling young man who constantly makes mistakes, but knows that when God is with me, no one can be against me. And that when you think celestially, and that when you truly appreciate what God's given you, nothing can go wrong. Thank you so much for allowing me to come this far in this application process, and I really do hope that I'm given the opportunity to continue to become an EFY ambassador. EFY has been pivotal in my life. It has truly been amazing, and thank you.